This is Margaret Ann Windsor, kidnapped from Buckingham Palace in 41, brought to the United States, Lawrence County, Alabama, and given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers. I married a Childers. Both twins were dead, Carl and Peggy, and they were killed by their mother, Lina. They were born out of wedlock, and I got dropped off, my identity stolen, in a pigsty, in a hellhole. That's all the words you can use for it. I'm going to fast forward because I've put this on former videos, pictures of my father, George II, the illegal monarch, my uncle who helped Joe Kennedy kidnap me, and the Rockefellers and Rothschilds, the New World Order, and Roosevelt. Joe Kennedy's father of JFK, and that's where I'm going with this now. I wrote about mind control without going back and because I'd use up the whole video all over again. I wrote about mind control 77, 78. I found out about my kidnapping in late 83 and who I am and my real name, Victoria II. My father, King Edward VIII. My mom, Claudia O'Keefe, sister to American Georgia O'Keefe. So part of my family didn't like that. My mom was commoner, and of course she had been Catholic and Irish American. The New World Order was behind it. It was okay to kidnap me, though, and take out my mom and dad using Wallace Simpson to marry a imposter. An American spy was Wallace Simpson. 99 years seal put on. My kidnapping, my father, and all of it. Now then, I wrote about mind control book 77, 78, how you can, the doctors I worked for, one was cardiovascular, and he put a chip in a heart bypass, and you can control someone's decision making, make them think it's their own decision when it's actually yours or whoever the agency is doing it. And you can modify behavior. So look back, people. I told about this a long time ago. The James Holmes, who's being treated for mental illness, which is a lie, the sickest thing. Mind control has nothing to do with mental illness. It's a murder weapon and hard to prove. It's invisible. The ones I've told about, which James Holmes is part of it, the Sandy Hook, Adam, I've forgotten his last name, excuse me. His father said he wished he had never been born. Adam Lanza is a mind control victim, and they are victims. There's no way they can get out of it. They don't even know it's happened to them if they've been programmed. In the Tucson, Arizona, and they're done in patterns, so it can be proven. Now then, I want to go back to, I did the book, Larry Flint was shot while I was doing the book in Lawrenceville, Georgia, which is about 40 miles from Marietta, where I was. And the person was programmed to shoot him. Now then, I wrote about Larry McDonald, Dr. Congressman, and his plane went down, and I'm leaving out that they put antifreeze in me April the 1st of 80 and all that happened, and I worked for the district attorney and all that. Fast forward to give you a little background before I go in to the point I'm going to make here. As my kids used to say, Mom, get to the point before you forget it. They laughed. It was a joke because I give all the background stuff, and you have to here, and the tape runs out, so you can't. Anyway, I was flown out to Flint's when Larry McDonald, the plane went down. You can program the pilot. You can do anything. Take the plane down, make him veer off course, and it looks good. The Soviets shot it down because it was in their airspace. And this doctor, all this happens to all these people I've written about or told about, and the media won't tell it because they're controlled by the people who kidnapped me, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds. Now then, I was out at Flint's, and he did an article endorsement April of 84, saying that I actually knew who was responsible for his shooting and that they'd made a pauper out of me. And when I first met him, I'd never met him before. When I was flown out there in 83, he actually said to me when I came in the door, was brought in to his home, he said they were going to send you back a vegetable. So he knew that I'd had the antifreeze put on in me. That's April the 1st of 80. With a letter from the FBI, let me remind you. And I thought it was the book. By send me back, he meant send me back a vegetable to Great Britain. Kennedy's helped do it. He was ambassador to England appointed by Roosevelt. And my own Uncle George had kidnapped me, gave him access. So there's your JFK and your New World Order. And your Jewish connection. By the way, Caroline married a Jewish fellow, and so has the Clintons. In fact, she's touting that she's having a baby, and he's Jewish. And then you've got Kate, who's illegal, and she has Jewish in her lineage. And little George, they named after William's, what would it be, great-grandfather, George. They helped take down my father, helped take down Great Britain, helped kidnap me, the real monarch, and he had the gall. They're illegal. They're using my money. They gave Great Britain away. They allowed military bases, which were illegal treaties signed by George, illegal George VI, to place military bases all over everything British. And I'm going to say this real quick, and maybe I'll have time to, I don't know that I will, put up what I wanted to. I give so much background, but they've even got an Area 51 in Australia. Remember, the United States didn't have an Area 51 until you couldn't hide it anymore. Well, they've put their own Area 51. What a joke, in Australia. So now then, I want to go to my jobs were gotten to. I'd worked for the DA, had the antifreeze. I went to D.C. because John Hinckley had been programmed, and I went up there to try to get to Hinckley's attorney in, this would be 82. Now then, I don't have any money. I'm literally on the street and carrying my book, letter from the FBI, letter where I've done the book, etc. I go to the Washington Post, which is Katharine Graham, and the President's Men and the Watergate break-in. So you think they're the good guys. I took all this. I went in there because her husband, Philip Graham, she was, now that I'm going to lose it here, she was who? Katharine Graham was Myers. What was her name? Her father was very wealthy and owned the Post, and then when Katharine married Philip, it fell, he became, well, part owner anyway, but of the Washington Post. So, yeah, Eugene Myers was her father's name, and he became the first president of the World Bank. So you get into the takeover of Myers, and he was a friend of JFK, and actually convinced him. Remember, JFK, they helped kidnap me. He and his brother flew into the embassy, and his dad was ambassador. Now, Graham, let me put it this way, Graham married Catherine, and Catherine's father was Eugene Myers. And it's the takeover of the media. You should follow what they bought. But JFK, Graham, Philip Graham helped JFK, encouraged him, let's put it that way, to get Johnson as his vice president. And there's other stuff I don't have room to put in here. But ComSat was, the defense is still is. You should follow ComSat and who controls it and the satellites. And you might find out what's going on up there. But the suicide of Philip Graham was why I went in there, because I'd been writing about mind control, and you can make a person commit suicide when really it's mind control is a murder weapon, and they didn't commit suicide. So I went in to the Washington Post in 82 with a letter from the FBI where I did the book, and I'm going to have to put this on the next tape, and I am going to put it Katharine Graham, Washington Post, to that effect. The tape's going out, so let me go to that now.